Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Kathy and I, we've been watching President Trump on Right Side Broadcasting in New Hampshire. And it was actually pretty cool because we got to see President Trump do something that we have never seen a president of the United States do before. He went to New Hampshire, went to the Secretary of State's office and registered to be on the ballot in the primary next year in New Hampshire. And it was really cool to see. And he went there, and there were a lot of supporters inside. The State Secretary of State was there. He met everyone. He signed their MAGA hats, which is like, I want a signed Donald Trump MAGA hat like no one's been. If I had a signed, if President Trump signed my MAGA hat, I'd never wear it again. I would put it in the safe deposit box at the bank, and that would be like a
family heirloom.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to have.
It'd be pretty cool. Or I might go to Hobby Lobby and get like a case to put it in, and then
have it on display like at a museum.
Yeah, in the house with like a light on it, or something. But no, but that's watching President Trump, he was talking to the State Secretary of State in New Hampshire, and I don't know who this guy is, but he seems to love Trump. And when Trump filled out the paperwork to be on the ballot in New Hampshire, which these never Trumpers and uniparty snakes thought he wasn't going to be on the ballot. They've been trying to keep him off the ballot. Now he's going to be on the ballot.
Yep.
And he gave the pin to that Secretary of State in New Hampshire. It was pretty cool. That pin's a pretty valuable thing and a cool thing to have. But President Trump was talking about energy prices in New Hampshire. And New Hampshire is pretty far north. We're in sunny South Florida. And in New Hampshire, it gets cold. Yeah, this morning it was like in the 60s, and that's like the freeze here in South Florida. It gets really cold, and you got the heat on this time of year. And he was talking about how in New Hampshire, President Trump, he was just having a casual conversation with this guy. President Trump said, in New Hampshire, you have the highest energy prices in the nation, which is insane. And he was talking about, he said, and this is just how smart President Trump is. He said, if we brought a pipeline in, we almost had it approved, they stopped it. If we brought a pipeline in through a poor part of New York into New Hampshire from Canada, he says, first off, in that poor part of New York, they want it there because all the people there that are out of work would have jobs related to the pipeline. But he said your energy prices, even before it reached here, would drop by 50% in New Hampshire if we had the pipeline here. And he was talking in some more detail about it.
There's so many things that Trump will do. And I think this first term, obviously when you're first in, you have so much you want to do. But I've said this before, I think he has a new perspective, and he won't allow himself to get so distracted by the media.
Yeah.
Like he did the first time, and he'll get a lot more accomplished. And there is so much to do that's just common sense, but you have these useful idiots on the left that believe everything the deep state tells them, and this is how they use climate change. It's not real, but they use it to manipulate people and to have an excuse for their corruption. So they'll tell you, well, we can't have a pipeline through a bad part of town because they'll say it's racist because, of course, they think all black people live in poor parts of town.
The only poor people are black people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no poor white people. So they'll tell you first it's racist, like bridges are racist. And then they'll tell you that it's bad for the environment. And then they'll fight you tooth and nail on this to keep it from happening. Look at all the other things that we can't do because of these liberal nutcases. But it's common sense. And if he was allowed to do whatever he wanted to do to make the country right, America would be in such an amazing position financially. It'd be like nothing we'd ever seen. It'd be like after World War II in the 50s, the way it was then, or during Reagan in the 80s, even better. It just would be a period of prosperity, but he has so many people trying to hold him down and hold him back and hold us back. And I sent you this article about this guy. I'll have to read it. And he said what the deep state wants is a class war. They want a war between the classes, the upper class. They want to eliminate the middle class, basically, and have a class war going on. And and of course they're in the upper crust, and we're down below. And they're bringing in all these illegals because they don't want a middle class. They want a class of people that depend on the government, and then they have the elites in the government. And it's a two-class system is what they're looking for. And everything they're doing is to destroy the middle class. But people on the left will tell you Biden's doing a great job in the economy. I mean, you hear Joy Behar every day saying how great the economy is. We all know that's not true.
Yeah, well, yeah. And Trump in New Hampshire, I've been telling you guys this for a while. I think people are just starting to pick up on it. He has a completely different campaign strategy. Right now, we're in the primary field. So he's given a speech today in New Hampshire, which a pretty large group of people, but it's not a rally. It's a smaller group than a rally would be. And when he went and registered to be on the ballot in the primary, there was this hallway he went down that was lined up with supporters. There might have been 100, 150 people in the hallway. He stopped and had a conversation with every single one of them, took selfies, signed their autographs, signed hats, and all this. And what President Trump has been doing in New Hampshire and Iowa, for the most part, because those are the two first, he has probably met close to 80% of the actual primary voters. Okay,
and also he's personally meeting the people that run the elections there locally. And I think that's part of
the local party,
secretaries of state
and the local party,
right? The people that are running the party. He's personally taking the time to meet them, get to know them, and let them get to know him. And that's a new strategy for him, I think.
Well, I remember many years ago when MSNBC was new. This is how long ago it was. When MSNBC was new, it was much different than it is today. I mean, when it was brand new, like the first election that MSNBC was on the air, and I was watching Chris Matthews, and he had this woman on who was from New Hampshire. And I can't remember all the different candidates who were running. I can't even remember what election it was. But she was naming by name. She said, I spoke to this person. I spoke to that. These are like senators and governors and members of that. And Chris Matthews said, wait a minute. What do you mean you've talked to these people? She says, well, in New Hampshire, because it's an early state, that if the candidates call you at home and talk to you on the phone. And Chris Matthews didn't even know this. And he'd been involved in Washington politics. And I don't know who is the top person in Trump's campaign right now. I mean, I know there's a lot of people around, and we see them. Corey Lewandowski was there today. There's someone, I think I have an idea who it is, okay?
Jason guy's pretty high up.
No.
He was there to do.
No, I think I know who it is. Whoever is, and I'll tell you who I think it is in a minute, but there is someone that is at the top of advisors for Trump's campaign in the primaries. They may not even officially be working for them, but whoever it is someone that goes way back in political campaigns that are successful. And President Trump is running a campaign like they used to do back in the 70s, in the 80s, and the early 90s with Bill Clinton when he ran the first time, where they actually meet voters in these primary states. And I think it's Ed Rollins, who was Ed Rollins was working for that DeSantis PAC. And if you remember a few weeks back, he quit. And Ed Rollins is one of the most brilliant people you've ever heard talk about politics and campaigning on the campaigning side of it. And he worked with President Reagan. And the way that Donald Trump is running his campaign,
possible.
He's going to small groups. If he does a rally, and he does a rally in New Hampshire, and there's 50, 60,000 people there. A lot of those people drive from out of state. So he knows he's got to win in Iowa and New Hampshire. Those are first. South Carolina's big. So he's doing things so that he's meeting the people of Iowa, meeting the people of New Hampshire, as opposed to people.
It's a more intimate approach.
If he did a rally in Iowa, I've seen this happen. He'll do a rally in Iowa. There'll be people from Florida there. Okay. He's really trying to shake hands, meet and speak, sign an autograph and take a selfie if he can, but he is looking to shake hands with every possible caucus goer in Iowa and every primary voter in New Hampshire. And that's how it used to be back in the days of Reagan and Nixon and President Kennedy and all those guys.
It's like the door-to-door campaign.
That's exactly right. He's running an old-fashioned campaign. And that's why I think Ed Rollins may not be like an official campaign guy, but I think he's an unofficial advisor. And probably, and we know Dick Morris is. So there are people that are advising President Trump that are top-tier professional campaigners that have worked on winning campaigns that are advising him to do this really a door-to-door campaign. in the primaries, and it's working. It's brilliant. And when you see him with these people in these states, they love him. It's completely different than he did before.
Well, they Right Side Broadcasting interviewed a couple women that were out front of the building when Trump was getting ready to come out. And he asked them, have you seen Trump before? She said, yes, but never this up close.
Yeah.
She said, we've been to rallies, but, he was going to walk right by them. She said, but I've never been like this close to him. And that means a lot to people. And he's really focusing on Iowa and New Hampshire because he knows he really needs to get on those first three get on those ballots. And he's getting to know the people that are handling all that and meeting them personally, shaking their hands. And he needs to win those states, which I'm sure he will, but to get that momentum going, because then how can other states keep him off the ballot? If he's already won the first 4 or 5 states, how can those other states down the road justify keeping him off when he's got that momentum going? So, and I think this is what DeSantis did, and it backfired because I just don't, obviously he's not likable.
Well,
he just made no inroads at all. It went backwards.
When I've been at campaign events, been to both. DeSantis, I was really surprised at that event I went to with DeSantis last year. He was very impersonal. When you're in the presence of President Trump, it's much different than when you see him on a rally stage or in person. And there's 3 things about President Trump that I tell people when you're up close with him that are different than when you watch him on TV or see him on a rally stage. His voice is deeper in person. That's a big one. I mean, when I first heard him in person with his voice, it's deeper in person than it comes off on television. I don't know why. Another thing is he's much bigger in person than you think he is. He's huge. He's a big guy, not in a bad way. He's a big guy. And Kathy, he has perfect teeth.
Well, yeah, he's probably got veneers.
And you see him up close. His teeth are amazing. And the other thing,
they cost a lot of money,
$1 billion. But I know these things sound weird, right? But the other thing is President Trump. When you're close to him, and when he looks at you, you feel like he's connecting to you. You know what I mean?
I saw him walking down the hall of this building, and this is sincere. I feel, and his interaction with the people. He looks directly at them. And I've seen many interviews with people that have met Trump, and they have said when you meet him, he makes you think like, you're the only person in the room, and he really listens to you. He's a great listener. And when you watch the interaction on these more intimate things, and you really need to follow Right Side Broadcasting on Rumble or YouTube, because they follow him everywhere now. You really get the behind the scenes of the campaign, because they're doing something that nobody else has ever done before. They're like in real time following him. You see them in the car, following Trump, in the press pool, following every moment. So definitely tune into that every day. And you see all this stuff going on. But his interaction with people is sincere, it's genuine, it's heartfelt. And I think DeSantis' interactions were the complete opposite. They were awkward. They were clumsy. He came across rude, and he's just not a personable guy. And you have to be personable. Look at Obama. I didn't like the guy, but he connected with people. Same with Bill Clinton. They were able to make those connections with people that meant something to somebody. And when people met them, I've seen Obama in interviews, and he's a very personable guy. He's very friendly. I don't like his politics, and I whatever. Same with Bill Clinton. When he meets people in line, you could tell Bill Clinton, whether it's real or not, I don't know, but it comes across like he sincerely makes a connection with people. Hillary doesn't have it. Hillary's like DeSantis. She's a turnoff. She's awkward. She's annoying. She's rude. And you can tell she doesn't want to be there. She can't be bothered. And I feel DeSantis does it. But Trump is definitely running a more intimate campaign. It's very different than his first 2 campaigns. And I think it's a smart strategy because he really needs to be in with these people that are in charge of these ballots and getting him on. And he's making those personal connections with them and meeting them face to face on a smaller scale, more intimate scale. And I've never seen Trump in person. You've seen him quite a few times. Yep. Have you seen him in a smaller venue, or has it always been like a large with thousands and thousands of people? Because I'm wondering what the difference is.
Probably the least amount of people when I've been in his presence was probably about 150. But that's small, just for a split second.
Yeah, and I think because I notice he's campaigning, he's doing more smaller indoor. Now there's 5 or 10,000, maybe 5,000 in each one, but he's not doing so many. Now maybe it'll change of these big outdoor venues. And I think you're right. He's trying to, for now, limit it to people that live in the area.
Because someone's that's why I think Ed Rollins and Dick Morris, because Dick Morris is like from the 80s and 90s, and some other people at that level are, because they've told him doing a rally where people come in from Nebraska all the way to New Hampshire is not helping you in New Hampshire. You got to shake hands with
maybe after he
New
gets
Hampshire
the nomination.
Then he'll
start doing those kinds of things.
Then he'll get back to the rallies.
He's thinking on more
and
of a national
a lot of people are saying, and they're wrong, oh, he can't fill arenas. He's doing small. No. When I knew a guy here in South Florida many years ago who got elected to city commission a bunch of times. And he was a real jerk. He was a person. And he told me, he says, the reason I went and over again, he says, every election, he says, I go through the neighborhood and knock on doors and I meet the voters. So when they go and vote, and that's the kind of campaign that Trump is running. Now, I want to tell you guys, it is Christmas shopping season. There is no better place to do your Christmas shopping than MyPillow.com. And with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you can take advantage of all the specials at MyPillow.com. And there's one I just want to tell you about. I've been telling you guys how great the towels are.
Yeah, they've been upgraded.
Mike Lindell has upgraded the towels. Kathy, we got to order a couple sets of the new ones.
I will. I'm going to send Emily a set too.
Yeah, our daughter. And don't wait for Christmas. Send them to her now. She's got her new place in California. She could use the towels now, I'm sure. But I've told you guys how great the MyPillow towels are. You know, how I picked the coffee I spilled on the floor and all this stuff, and how I took a shower and dried off with just the washcloth and all that stuff. The upgraded MyPillow 6-piece towel set, which is under $30 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, is made with even a better, tighter woven cotton that are more absorbent than even the original MyPillow towel sets. So order us 2 sets, Kathy, one for each of our bathroom, and then get one for our daughter in California.
I will.
And make sure you use our promo code Kane, Kane. And
if you don't know what color to get, just get white. You can never go wrong with white. That's what I like, is the white towels. I prefer that with towels, but I do have the blue, which are beautiful because we have a blue bathroom. But if you're not sure of the color somebody has of sheets or towels, if you're giving a gift, you can always, that's the perfect color. I mean, really.
And you know,
if you call
with
white
the white
color, it goes with everything.
And I'll tell you the thing about the white, if you're, oh no, in white, it'll say, when I dried up all that coffee with the creamer on the floor with the towel, and I washed and dried the towel, it did not stain. It came completely out of the towel.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they're very high quality. But again, you could take advantage of all the specials at MyPillow.com, not just the ones we talk about, but the new upgraded MyPillow towel sets, less than $30 with our promo code Kane at checkout, and they're a major upgrade according to Mike Lindell. Now, I wanted to share something with you real quick here. This is people are so strange.
That's what Jim Morrison said.
I posted on Instagram this morning. You guys, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can. Brian Craig Show on Instagram. And when I got to the radio station this morning, one of the radio station vans, we have vans for the radio stations. You know, we're on a bunch of radio stations, and there are different vans for the different radio stations.
Right.
Okay. And one of the radio station vans was out front, the one for 95.3 FM, which is how you listen to me in the Boca Raton area, and 96.9 FM, which is where you can listen to me in the mornings in Fort Lauderdale area. And I just took a picture of the van, and I posted it up on Instagram, and a lady commented, and she wrote this: "Just don't have an opinion different from Brian. He blocks you. I'm blocked. Censorship," with an exclamation mark. Okay, now first off, if she's blocked, how did she leave me this message?
Exactly.
I don't even know who this lady is. But she says, "Just don't have an opinion different from Brian. He blocks you. I'm blocked. Censorship." And, I could delete this comment. I left it up. But anyway, I clicked on, I don't know who she is. She's got like a fake name. If you go to my Instagram and look at the picture, you can look at the comment, unless she deletes it herself because she hears this and feels like an idiot.
I can take 3 guesses and probably figure it out.
So look at this. So she's got like a weird name, and I click on her profile, and it says married mortician as profession, and her entire profile is private. So if I'm the one that's blocking people, which is not true, and I don't like people that disagree with me and all this stuff. Why is she hiding her profile? And what's with this fake profession as a married mortician? I don't quite understand.
How is a married mortician a profession?
I don't know, Kathy, but that's what it says, married mortician. So she's a mortician?
But she's got her picture there.
Yeah, but I don't know who that lady is.
No.
And she hides her profile. So I don't quite understand.
Here's the deal with the chat. We don't block too many people. But we have moderators, and I'm a moderator. But you can't
on YouTube.
just,
You're talking about on YouTube.
On YouTube. And we don't block people that have a different opinion. But if you say something inappropriate, then that you're running that risk. And I feel 90% of the people do it on purpose, to get blocked or to do something wrong. They know what they're doing is wrong. They know what they're not supposed to say. It has nothing to do with an opinion. It has to do with other things that are not allowed. And you know what that is. And that's usually the only thing that is said, or that where you get blocked, or if you spam the chat with something over and over and over and over, then that's another
vulgarities
vulgarities, attacking sponsors. We've gone through things like this. That's the kind of stuff that gets you blocked. I'm sorry, you don't have a right to do that. Here's the deal.
And YouTube has rules too.
It's right. It's not censorship. You can start your own YouTube channel and say whatever the hell you want to say. But this is Brian's channel, so he has every right to have a say in what comes across his channel. If you want to say whatever you want, start your own YouTube channel and say whatever the hell you want.
That's right. I never have blocked someone because they have an opinion I disagree with.
No, there's always something else involved in their discussion that makes them get blocked, and then they'll hide behind the censorship thing. Nobody is censoring you. Like I said, you can go on Twitter, you can have your own YouTube, and you can do whatever the hell you want and say whatever you want. You have the freedom in the world to do that, and see where that takes you and how far you get with that.
Well, anyway, I don't know who this lady is on Instagram, the married mortician, but there's no censorship going on with you.
Well, one thing I know for sure is she's listening right now.
But for some reason, you're censoring yourself. You don't want people to know who you are, and you make your profile private. So you're crying censorship, but you censorship your identity.
Well, and in a way, she's censoring people because she's not letting just anybody follow
her.
So how is it okay for her to pre-block people? Because that's what it is. When you have a private Instagram, you are screening people, whether they can follow you or not.
That's right.
So it's okay for her to pre-screen people.
Pre-censor.
But it's not okay for Brian to block people that make inappropriate comments. I think there's a bit of hypocrisy going on here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Don't go anywhere. We got something big after the break you will not want to miss, I promise you. We'll be right back.
The autobiography from author Erica Ursula Friedman, Precious Gift of Freedom, Noble Nations of Humanity, is available right now on Amazon. In this must-read autobiography, the author shares her remarkable and harrowing nonfiction survival story during the Second World War in Germany. Precious Gift of Freedom takes readers through the trials of war, the challenging post-war years, and even the heroic Berlin airlift. It's a story written through the eyes of a child survivor. It's a vivid and raw chronicle of the brutality and inhumanity of war. The author doesn't just recount her own experiences, she sheds light on the suffering of innocent children caught in the crossfire of adult conflicts. Her message is clear. It's time for the global community to protect the human rights of children everywhere. When you read Precious Gift of Freedom, you will learn about the extraordinary actions of the German-American Red Cross and the life-saving intervention of the American Care Organization. Erica's story is a testament to the power of humanity in the face of adversity. She shares her encounters with American, British, French, and Russian soldiers. Discover how Erica's life was transformed when she found hope and love through Sunday school and her faith in Jesus Christ. Despite the tragedy, this story is filled with inspiring messages, delightful humor, and the warmth of the human spirit. Perfect for older teens and adults from all walks of life. It offers guidance and hope on your own journey. Precious Gift of Freedom, Noble Nations of Humanity, from author Erica Ursula Friedman, is available on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Order your copy right now. From award-winning author G. Gordon Long comes the book Draw Down the Moon, a story of America's first witchcraft hysteria, available on Amazon. In Draw Down the Moon, you'll be transported back in time to the dark and untamed New World. It's the autumn of 1645. Mary Johnson left on a journey that would change her life forever. She left behind the old world and sought a new beginning in America. Just 20 years old and full of dreams, Mary arrived in Wethersfield, Connecticut. She envisioned a life free from the restraints of her past, but little did she know her destiny was about to take a chilling turn. Join Mary and 33 others as they become entangled in the little-known story of America's first witch hunt hysteria, nearly half a century before the Salem witch trials. Draw Down the Moon will take you to the heart of colonial Connecticut's crucible. You'll uncover the secrets, fears, and hysteria that captivated an entire community. Step into the past and experience the chilling truth of America's first witchcraft hysteria. And order your copy of Draw Down the Moon, a story of America's first witchcraft hysteria from author G. Gordon Long. Available in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Draw Down the Moon, a story of America's first witchcraft hysteria, is perfect for book clubs. Order your copy on Amazon and experience the chilling truth of America's first witchcraft hysteria. Are you a business professional who needs expert interpretation? There's one name you can trust, and that's Language XS. Trusted by top organizations, Language XS offers 24/7 service with guaranteed confidentiality. Do you need assistance right now? Reach out at 207-544-6804 or visit them online at languagexs.com. Language XS has the most advanced and flexible telephonic interpreting system available. And if you need face-to-face communication, they've got you covered with video communication. All you need is an internet connection, a mobile device, or computer with a webcam. They also have on-site interpreting services for those critical in-person meetings. With thousands of professional interpreters that are fluent in hundreds of languages, Language XS ensures clear communication each and every time. Don't let a language barrier hold you back. Choose Language XS for expert interpretation services that keep your business running smoothly. Visit languagexs.com or give them a call at 207-544-6804. Language XS, your trusted partner for clear communication. Always languagexs.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And remember, the Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms, so make sure you look us up and you can listen to us in the car, and you can do a binge and listen to shows from a decade ago and just drive across America listening to us. But we are on all podcast platforms, including YouTube. All right, so there are a couple stories here I wanted to talk about. One is the United Auto Workers strike. You know, the United Auto Workers strike really isn't getting a lot of play, and it's not really a good time for the auto workers to be striking. You know, I was reading today that car repossessions are at their highest point since the early 90s. It's around 94, car repossessions, because the economy is so bad, people are missing their car payments.
Well, the interest rates are high and cars are expensive right now.
Well, a lot of people, they are, oh my goodness. A lot of people have
payments they can't make.
Subprime loans on car loans are getting their cars repossessed. I mean, I'd like to have a new car. My car is a 2011. I'm driving a 2011. It's 2023. Our daughter was like in 5th grade when we bought my car, and she's like going to be 25 on her next birthday.
Still in good. It still runs great. I mean, it's a great car.
Well, I don't know if I take it across the country, but it does run well. I have no problems with it, knock on wood, and it does run well. But I'm not a car guy, you know, so I don't run out and I've never really been into cars, you know. But I'm driving a car from 2011, so, you know, I'm thrifty when it comes to such things. But with repossessions high, that's not good. And when the economy's not doing well, the auto industry's not doing well because people cannot afford to buy new cars. Well, some information came out today, and this is in the Daily Mail. The United Auto Workers Union president, who's been organizing all these strikes, they say which has cost billions of dollars to the economy, these strikes. And, you know, it does, because it doesn't just cost money at the corporate level for the auto manufacturers. It costs the dealers money, mechanics money, parts manufacturer money, people who ship cars, people who ship parts. I mean, it's endless how many people are not making money because of the strike, right? So so they say it's cost billions of dollars, and I can easily believe it. But the United Auto Workers president that's organizing all the strikes is being advised, according to the Daily Mail, by a career socialist activist whose priority is to keep the auto industry wounded. Sean Fain, president of UAW, has ordered a walkout of more than 30,000 across the big three, Ford, General Motors, and the others. Some of his closest advisors, termed New York intellectuals by critics, have little or no experience on factory floors. Yep. Sources with knowledge of the auto worker contract negotiations claim the advisors do not have the workers' best interest. No kidding. And, of course, they are, one of them's a socialist. And,
they have another agenda that they have in mind.
Yeah, the agenda
talks about.
The agenda has nothing to do with the auto workers and what's best for the auto workers. The socialists are communist, okay? Socialists are communists that are afraid to come out of the closet as communist.
Right.
Because Americans, even still today, most Americans don't like communist. So socialist being communist means that they're CCP lovers, okay? So I know this will sound crazy to some of you. China has a big role to play in all of this. There's a lot of disorder going on in the world. Now, these advisors to the UAW president, listen to this. Okay, these are the socialist activists, according to the Daily Mail, who were advising the UAW president, and I have enough sway to get him to strike. Some of them have made careers out of socialist activism. Some have worked as writers, commentators, and have worked for Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. They jump from organization to organization to push their socialist agenda, and then they move on to another organization.
That's right.
Leaked private messages and strategy documents written by members of the UAW president's inner circle reveal their goal is to launch unprecedented strike action, keep car companies wounded for months, purge union staff who don't agree with their radicalism, and it goes on. This strike that they're going up against right now has gotten very little, if you've noticed, publicity in the media lately. It was getting a lot of play a while back, but until I saw this article today, I kind of forgot there was a UAW strike going on. It's gotten that little attention.
Yeah.
And the reason it's getting very little attention is because it doesn't help Biden and the Democrats, because Biden, his whole thing is he's a union guy, and the Democrats' electric vehicle push is one of the things that's hurting the auto industry. They want to
break the auto industry.
Correct.
And you got these people, like Trump said, that work for these companies that go out there and hug Biden and kiss his ass. And Trump's like, this guy's trying to put you out of business. This is how stupid these people are, because they put their politics ahead of common sense.
Yeah.
And they're so blinded by their liberal agenda and they're being a Democrat that they will love everything he does, even though he is systematically trying to destroy the auto industry.
Yep.
So it all collapses, and then the electric cars can come on in because, and I've said this before, China does not make oil. They make lithium. They have lithium. They have that huge lithium mine in Afghanistan now. That is their energy source. And to be the superpower of the world, they need the world dependent on lithium, not on oil. The problem with that is we have oil, we'll always have oil, and we can drill any time that we need to. And we just need the right leaders in those positions to make it happen.
See,
so it's not something that's going to stick long term.
The United States has more oil than any other country in the world. And we're blessed with that. And that's why when President Trump was president in his first term, he turned us into the number one producer of oil. But we were still tapping just a little bit of our oil. Like, for example, in Florida very well may be the most oil-rich state in all of America, and no one knows it. The Florida Everglades, which is a national park, is filled with oil. There are some oil wells
It's a big, huge swamp.
Yeah.
It's huge.
There are some oil wells in the Florida Everglades that were put there like in the 30s before they had environmentalism like we have today.
Yeah.
And they've been drilling for over a century. There hasn't been a single oil spill. But no,
it's very safe.
The Florida Everglades is filled with oil, and it's a big secret.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder, and it's a national park, so you can't drill there. And I've often wondered, are the national parks a scheme to control drilling for oil in this country? Are a lot of the national parks?
I don't know if they were,
because
Roosevelt was a conservative, and I don't think
they were using oil back then.
Yeah, but I don't think that was his goal. He was a naturist.
No, but
I think they've used that since for sure.
No. But since then, they've added to the public lands a lot. The national parks are much. There's much more national park land than there was during Teddy Roosevelt's day.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm wondering if they've done that to kind of control it.
Well, they use the environment in many ways to control things. If you really think about it, they use the global warming lie and all that climate change stuff. And you're right. Maybe they use this. Now, I like national parks, and I think they're important, and they're very important to the country to preserve those kinds of things. But I don't know. I don't know if drilling would be a good thing or a bad thing. I think if we can drill other places, that would be great. And I think we can. And I think that's the kind of place where you'd only go if there's an emergency. But the thing with they've made up all these lies about so many things from the left and all these professors that have told you that people believe. And I always call the left useful idiots because they believe everything they're spoon-fed because their hatred of Trump is so strong that anything that's against Trump, they'll believe it no matter what.
Absolutely.
They'll just, no matter what, no matter how much BS. Now, Trump is suing Christopher Steele now for this dossier in England, which I think he should because that created a whole problem. I wonder where that's going to go. That'll be very interesting. And it also said, I'm watching the Right Side Broadcasting ticker tape on the bottom. They have a news thing that Trump is way, way ahead in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, that he's set to win those three states. And I told you the other day, I said, I really feel that DeSantis and those people really felt that Trump would back out by now. I don't think they realized that he would stick this out. And I don't think anybody realized that. And I'm starting to believe that he's never, I used to worry he was going to go to jail, but I really don't think he is. I don't think the Secret Service is going to let that happen because they cannot secure the Fulton County Jail properly for this guy. They can't do it. And I just don't think that's going to happen. And I think Trump knows it. But I really believe that they did not think Trump would stick this out. I think they felt that he would have made a deal by now, that he would have panicked, he would have gone to them. But I told you, we were talking about this for the show, I really feel that Trump is very, very religious. There is no way a normal person without strong, strong faith could go through what they're going through. I mean, even Paul was imprisoned and Peter. And look what happened with them. Yeah. Good things. They started the whole church. Paul, all his letters, a lot of them he wrote from jail, St. Paul, that started the church, the Colossians and the Ephesians and Corinthians. And I don't know, I'm not saying Trump aligns himself with that, but I'm sure he has strong faith. I know his wife does. And I think he truly believes everything will work out in the end to God's purpose. And I really feel he has that kind of faith because I don't think a normal person could go through this without faith. I really don't. I mean, I just believe that he's a lot more faithful than we realize. And I think it really is his guiding light in life. I could be wrong, but that's my impression.
In the first campaign, he kept talking about this book, and I always forget the title of the book when we're doing the podcast. Do you remember the book? It was a business book.
No, and I don't remember the title.
And I went and got the book. And I couldn't buy it. They were all sold out on Amazon. I'm going to look it up and buy it. Maybe it's available now because he hasn't been talking about it in years, but they sold out of it on Amazon. And it was a book from like the 50s and 60s for businessmen.
Yes.
And I got the book in the local library. They had it. I had to get on a wait list to get it because Trump kept talking about it. It was always checked out. And it was a book for Christian businessmen. If somebody remembers the name of that book, let me know in the comments because I want to order that book on Amazon. And I could never remember the title of it. If you remember, let me know in the comments.
I think he's a lot more religious
I
than
think
people
so, too.
realize.
He just doesn't wear it on his sleeve.
Like Mike Pence, who's a big phony.
Yeah, but I don't, Pence is no, I don't believe he's a
People
Christian.
who wear their religion like that, like where it's over the top, I always have found that they're frauds.
Yeah.
And that the people that keep it more to themselves are probably more pious and more religious. But do you agree with me that I think Trump has a lot of strong faith?
Absolutely.
How could you get through this without something like that?
Absolutely. He's a great inspiration. You know, as all of us go through troubles in our lives.
Absolutely.
You know, we always have things going on, and Kathy will tell you, I'm a worrier. You know, I'm always worrying about
Brian
things
is a worrier.
I'm always worrying about things that have not happened and probably
That's
never
true.
will happen. But Trump is facing over
a lot of what if thinking.
Yeah, Trump is facing over 1,000 years in prison. And he's doing all this stuff in New Hampshire today, and then he's getting on his plane
amazing.
And going to New York for that idiot judge that wanted to throw him in jail.
Well, people ask him, you know, about the prospect of going into jail, and he said he's willing to go, but he said he doesn't think about it. He said, I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. So I really feel he's the kind of guy that really lives in the moment and doesn't worry about the future like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with faith and just his personality. And I think he just really is the kind of guy that lives in the here and now.
Yeah.
Because anything can happen. And I think he has a lot of hope. And he just doesn't worry about that like a negative future like that.
Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And if you would like to become a patron of the program, there's a link to our Patreon page in the episode description. And when you're a Patreon supporter, you have access to commercial-free editions of all the podcast episodes, as well as a lot of exclusive and behind-the-scenes content that Kathy and I both post on the Patreon page, exclusive to Patreon supporters. And also, you're supporting the program. And one of those perks and benefits, if you're a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, ActicFox, John, Paulette, Carlos, Rick, Nick, Mike P, Rome, Wisconsin, Macho, and Wesley. These are our top Patreon supporters. And thank you all for your support. Oh, now, if you've not seen my sunrise at Mar-a-Lago from over the weekend, go to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube, and check that out. And I'd not done that in a long, long time. And you guys, you may have noticed I've been live streaming with a much upgraded camera. And this was actually the first live stream I have done at Mar-a-Lago for the sunrise in a long time. And it's the first time I did it with the high-def camera. And not only did I stay there for the entire sunrise, I gave a tour around Mar-a-Lago afterwards. So if you've not seen that, it's on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. I think you will most definitely enjoy it.
And the weather was so nice.
It was perfect weather, and I was waiting for perfect weather, and there was not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take our last break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. We got a story we're going to get into after this break that you will not want to miss. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.
Are you ready to unlock your true potential and live your best life? From successful entrepreneur, women empowerment advocate, and author K.M. Wells comes the book you've been waiting for, Let Go and Be You, available on Amazon. It's time to realize that life is a precious gift, and Let Go and Be You will show you how to make the most of every moment. So seize the day, make a difference, chase your dreams, embrace happiness, apply for that college, and start building your empire, because you have the power to shape your destiny, and Let Go and Be You will guide you every step of the way. Get your copy of Let Go and Be You today on Amazon, available in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Don't wait. It's time to let go and be the amazing you that you were meant to be. Let Go and Be You from author K.M. Wells. Order your copy right now and start living the life that you deserve. Get ready for a ride full of excitement and wonder with the book from author Myrna Kay, Baby is a Sports Car. Baby is a Sports Car is a children's book that will take readers on a journey through the daily escapades of Baby, the sports car, with easy-to-read phrases that rhyme and vibrant illustrations that come to life. Baby is a Sports Car promises a joyous reading experience that children will treasure for years to come. Join Baby as she navigates the twists and turns of her adventures and discovers the magic of storytelling. Whether it's story time before bed or a fun afternoon read, Baby is a Sports Car is the perfect companion for young readers. It's also perfect for teachers for classroom reading. Order your copy right now on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and Lulu.com. Baby is a Sports Car from author Myrna Kay, and let the journey of imagination and joy for children begin. Baby is a Sports Car from author Myrna Kay.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day, the buy one, get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way, too.
Go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, so, we have no southern border right now, right? I think we all agree with that. There's no southern border. I mean, it's just completely open. Just come on in. And there's a story that is really being hidden. It's been going on for a little while, but it's coming to a head right now. Joe Biden is attempting to deport an evangelical Christian family and to Germany, deport them to Germany.
Not surprised.
And I want to go through this a little bit. But these are victims of religious persecution in Germany, which has a very, very bad history of persecution of different religions, okay? And this should be at the top of everything, especially with what's going on with Israel right now, even though these are Christians. I'm going to read through this story, and we'll talk about it a little bit. A Christian family is begging the Biden administration to intervene in their upcoming deportation after living in the United States for 15 years. They're asking for asylum from religious persecution in Germany. They fled Germany. I cannot pronounce these names. They're very, very hard names.
Well, don't look at me. I'm not
German. I'm not even going to try. But it's a husband and wife. They have kids. They fled Germany in 2008 after the German government threatened them with prosecution for, get this, homeschooling their 5 children.
Prosecuting for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Homeschooling in Germany is only allowed in very limited circumstances. The family was facing a $9,000 fine, so they moved to East Tennessee and filed for asylum. They fled Germany for East Tennessee. Authorities denied their claim in 2013, with the family attempting to appeal the decision after Obama challenged the initial ruling that was approved. They do not have citizenship in the U.S. They've been able to live in the U.S. for the last 10 years under an indefinite deferred action status, but we're told this month that they must return to Germany. Their bid comes as millions of asylum seekers are pouring into the U.S. across the Texas border. In their initial argument, they claim that God was calling them to homeschool their 5 children, claiming that the anti-Christian message in German schools was also a factor. The couple are begging the Biden administration to intervene after they were told to obtain German passports on September 6th. During a routine check-in, the family were told their deferred status had been revoked, and they were given 4 weeks to apply for German passports. They said to the media that they did not tell us anything. We don't know why they did this. We wonder ourselves. We don't understand. The wife added that the laws haven't changed in Germany, so they still face prosecution and persecution for their religious beliefs. The family was not given any prior warning or explanation that there was a change in their status. It's pretty obvious that this is a high-profile case. First off, you don't deport people to Germany who are facing religious persecution.
Biden does, apparently.
Hey, listen, the Democrats sent Jews back to Germany,
That's right.
okay, during the Second World War. That didn't bother them. But just the symbolism of it is bad.
If they were, I don't know if this is such a thing, but if they were black Germans, are there black people in Germany? Would he still do this? There's got to be some. If they are. I mean,
there probably are.
I'm sure there's some. If these were black Germans,
I've never known one,
or people of color. But do you think they would be getting deported?
No, they're white. They're being deported, and there's
Maybe
certainly
this is part of Tucker's Great Reset that they're now going to start deporting white people that are
I don't know
that are immigrants that are not people. I'm not joking. That are not. They're going to start deporting them. That are if you're white, if you're Caucasian, you're in trouble.
Well, I'll tell you why I talk about this a little bit. They are letting in millions of people that are going to be here forever. That are having children here. Here you got a couple And by the way, they all say they're from Venezuela because of the communist state. You get here, you get asylum from political persecution and all that. These asylum seekers, these are people that are truly victims of religious persecution in the place where they persecuted a religion more than any other in the modern world, Germany, and they're sending them back.
That's true.
And
they do have a history of that.
And they have no sympathy for them. And it's just wrong. And, it's another example of how this administration, the Biden regime, just don't give a darn what anyone thinks or public opinion or public perception. No, they're fearless.
Yeah, they are. They're really, it's scary.
It sure is. Yeah, so, that's, I hope those people can find a way to stay here. Okay,
good luck.
So Lindsey Graham did something really weird today with Newsmax in Israel. So Lindsey Graham's over in Israel. There's a war about to happen. So Lindsey Graham's all excited. He loves war. He wants war. It's what Don Jr. said over the weekend on Twitter. Don Jr. said there's no profit in peace, only in war.
Maybe he just gets turned on by soldiers.
Maybe it's possible.
Maybe that's what it's really all about.
But anyway, a Newsmax reporter in Israel who's an American citizen and an Israeli citizen asks about Tlaib. And Lindsey Graham, this is in Israel, and this is today, and Lindsey Graham just had a meltdown. Listen to this.
Can you turn that? Thank you. Daniel Cohen, I'm the Jerusalem correspondent for Newsmax. I want to say thank you for being here. My family lives here. I made Aliyah 2 years ago. So this is personal. I know many people were sent from the United States, and there's international press from around the world. And I heard every single one of you voicing your support for Israel fervently, stridently. And I heard that, and I received that into my heart. And so on behalf of...
Okay, so this is the Newsmax reporter, that's talking.
Okay.
My family and people, I'm an American and an Israeli citizen, I say thank you. But it starts at home. And I'd like to ask any Democrat senator here that would like to speak to Rashida...
So what happened here is Lindsey Graham's over there with a group of Democrat and Republican senators meeting with the Israelis, okay?
I'd like to ask any Democrat senator here that would like to speak to Rashida Tlaib. She still has a tweet up condemning Israel for a hospital attack. And
stop.
It's not a...
No.
Wow.
It's a fair question, Senator Graham.
We are here together, not to talk about the problems at home, which are many.
It's a fair
I've
question,
got my
Senator.
own view of what to say. You're not going to screw this up.
I'm not trying to screw it up.
Get this guy out of here.
Oh, my
Now, let me
I live
tell
here.
you,
I'm an Israeli. I want an answer to the question.
I'm
please.
an American.
And I am too.
And I
my
believe in
God.
free speech. I don't believe what the squad has to say
Thank
at
you.
all.
So he believes in free speech, but this guy, he says, get him out of here. Then he goes on.
But I came here with Democrats and Republicans to let everybody in the world know, don't judge every Democrat by the squad, and don't judge every Republican by some of the things you hear. Where the House...
No comment.
Yeah. Where the House, they'll get their act together, but we need to do our job. We need to do our job in the Senate. We need to pass a bill that will help Israel, help Ukraine. That's at least what I think. I think the House will show up. Now, I'm sorry, my friend. I probably shouldn't have said it, but my nerves are raw right now.
Okay, couple things about this. Okay, Lindsey Graham defending Tlaib there. And hold the Democrats' response. She's one of them, and they don't condemn her. They don't punish her. They don't censure her. They don't say that she should resign or be forced out of office. The Democrats support Tlaib, so they're responsible for her.
Well, we just saw that video of that Republican clown, that Florida representative, dancing in the White House while he was bowling in Nixon's bowling alley in the basement. And that went viral last week. And what the hell is a Republican swamp creature? Well, I guess we do know, hanging out in the White House bowling. And this is why these guys, you have to understand, as Tucker calls them, the uniparty. They're not Republicans. They're all part of the uniparty. They're all friends. They all want to have access to the White House, and they're not going to do anything. They're never going to impeach Biden. It's never going to happen because they're all swamp creatures, and they want to have that kind of access, and they're all friends.
And then what Lindsey Graham said there at the end, you hear he mentions Israel and Ukraine in the same sentence. See, they got this thing now.
Now we got to fund everybody.
The Ukraine war is so unpopular in this country.
Yes.
But the defense of Israel is very popular for good reason. So what these swamp creatures are doing, Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, and all of them, is they're connecting Israel funding with Ukraine funding as a way to get Ukraine funding.
You're right. That's exactly right.
And they're putting the spending bills together, and that's very low life, and it's pretty scummy.
You're right. That's exactly what they're doing because things are getting messed up with their little deal with the Ukraine because nothing's really happening.
Everyone's against it.
So now they're putting them together. Yep, you're right on that.
Now I got this other clip here. This one's a good one. This is
they're all scum.
Mayor Giuliani talking about Joe Biden.
Mayor, he said, I'm going to make sure this is going to go to the Palestinian people, the civilians, but Hamas is in control.
Yeah, how? He's got no one in Gaza. The money's going to go into Gaza. Hamas controls it. They're just as good as the mafia grabbing the money from people. I mean, he's either being a total fool or a big liar, or probably both. But let's face it, he's on Iran's side, and he's on Hamas's side. He is not on our side.
He's talking about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is on Hamas's side and Iran's side, and I don't see how anyone could disagree with that.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with it. I'm gonna say Joe Biden's on Joe Biden's side. Well, I don't think he's on anybody's side but his own side. I think he'll screw over anybody, including his own children, to enrich himself. And I think he is on any side that's going to give him the most money.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
He's an opportunist of the worst kind.
Oh yeah, he is the most corrupt man to ever be president.
He's on whoever side has the bigger paycheck.
Yeah, but what Mayor Giuliani said is true. He's funding Iran. He's funding the Palestinians, and Iran and the Palestinians are killing Jews.
It's just incredible. Now we are funding 2 wars, and there's going to be a third one coming soon. We're just waiting. China's going to start attacking Taiwan, and all of these world leaders are taking advantage of, they all wanted Biden in because they knew that he would do nothing to stop them. And all he's doing is what Democrats always do. They throw money at a problem.
Now, we were talking in the first segment about the new MyPillow towel sets, which are just incredible.
Yes.
And I want to mention there is a Christmas section at mypillow.com, and there's huge savings there with our promo code Kane. Great things like tree skirts, stockings, winter scarves and hats and all kinds of cool stuff. There's an entire Christmas section, huge savings. You can take advantage of the specials there. And another thing that's a great Christmas gift is the MyPillow 2.0 that has temperature regulating technology, so your head and face never will get hot again on the pillow. You'll never flip your pillow again. The buy one, get one free offer is going on right now on the MyPillow 2.0. If you order the MyPillow 2.0, buy one, get one free, you have 2 Christmas presents.
And also, if you haven't really purchased MyPillow products, this is the time to do it because I have never seen deals this good. This is the time to stock up. And once you do get these products, you will never go back to anything else. I promise you.
Yeah.
They're better than anything you've ever bought for your home. As far as pillows and linens, you will be a true believer once that happens.
Oh, yeah. You'll know exactly what we're talking about. By the way, you got to use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, save up to 80%. And also, you're supporting the show and Mike Lindell, but you got to use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. Also, the MyPillow pet beds, less than $20 for the MyPillow pet beds. We have 2 of the MyPillow pet beds. We've had them since they first came out. We've had them for years. And
I wash them all the time. One we had when Daisy was alive, when she's been gone for quite a while.
Yeah, and they're like brand new still.
Yeah, the cat and dog love them, and we wash them a couple times a month.
Well,
at least.
The MyPillow pet beds have the same patented fill as the pillows inside that Mike Lindell invented. They're completely 100% washable and dryable. You put the whole thing in the wash, whole thing in the dryer, and it's like new. It washes it from the inside out, and they're less than $20.
They're great for older dogs because older dogs have a lot of joint problems and and can have some arthritis, and you want them to have a comfortable bed, and they really do love it. Our dog's 15 years old, and she loves that bed.
Yeah, and we get our dogs and cats Christmas presents every year, and I don't know how this is, but they know it's their present, whatever it is. I don't know how they know. Every dog and
They're
cat
smarter than you think.
They always know. And the pet beds also make a great Christmas gift for not just your pets, but for someone on your gift-giving list who has pets. The cat and the dog both love them. So again, the MyPillow pet beds under $20 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Well, listen, we are out of time for today. My name is Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.